So we hadn't done a video in a while, and I figured it was time. And figured it was time, and we're gonna do more of a, let's call it a how-to. Our 59 Thunderbird that you've seen on here a bunch, not ours, but the 59 Thunderbird you've seen on here a bunch. It's got a bearing failure, axle bearing failure in the rear. So we decided to pull the whole rear end out, and we're gonna go through it and completely rebuild the whole rear end, because it's actually really one of the only things on the car that we haven't done. This is the rear out of it, the axle bearing failure on the other side, and we're gonna go ahead and pull this. We've already pulled the axle out of this side. We're gonna pull the axle out of this side. We're gonna pull the third member out, pull all the brake lines off, and we're gonna blast this housing, get a new coat of paint on it. We'll go through, check the gears. We know it's got a little excessive play. I'm gonna see if we can make some adjustments on that, or if we just need to replace the gear set in it. We're gonna see what we find in there anyway. Definitely getting all new seals, bearings, everything throughout. We're gonna go ahead and put brake shoes on it. We're gonna put a spring kit on it. We're doing the whole 9 yards. That way when this goes back in, the rear end is completely new end to end, and match the rest of the car. The rest of the car, we have already done the front suspension, all brand new. So it's time to upgrade the rear to match, and that's what we're going to be working on now. So let's get this rear end apart. For those that have never done this before, there's four nuts. That's what this hole right here is for, so you can reach through and get these off. You take those off and the axle pulls out on a Ford 9-inch. You take those 4 nuts off, and then you gotta snatch the axle out. Now, sometimes these axles don't want to just pop right out. Sometimes you gotta actually jerk on them a little bit to get them out, but that's all there is to it, is removing these 4 nuts, and then the axle comes out. Once the axle comes out, then we can do an inspection. So the axle pulls out, like I said, and then we do a visual inspection of the bearing, how freely it'll turn, smooth it is. We do a visual inspection of the axle. We look at everything. We're gonna pull the axle on out, and when we pull the axle out, I like to look at these. Camera focus. I like to look at these teeth here to make sure they're straight and not twisted or bent. Oh, let's take a better look. Oh, let's take a better look here. Yeah, they don't look, they look all straight. They don't look damaged in any way that I can see here, but we'll do a better inspection on them in a few minutes. We want to look up in here. Definitely need to replace some stuff in there, but that's okay. That's what we come in here for. And then, of course, we can take the backing plate off with all of our brake stuff on it. And here is the backs of the nuts, or where these nuts go. This elongated shaped bolt here, so it catches the side of the housing. That's really all they are, holding the 9-inch together. And as you can tell, this thing needs a good cleaning. This has never been out from under the car. It's never been cleaned, of course, so there's 60 years of crud on this axle that we're gonna clean it all up, make it look new again. Let's dig into the center section now and see what we find. Well, other than the fact there's almost no fluid in this thing, and the fluid that is in it looks pretty rough so far, other than very nasty, I don't see any damage. What you want to look for is these teeth. You want to look to see if they're kind of sharpened down because they're wore out, or you want to look and see if there's a broken tooth or a chip mark or anything like that. So that'll be the next thing that I do, is I'll rotate this around and look for any damage on these teeth. And so far, I don't see any damage, which is a good thing. It means we may just be to the point of where it was just bearing failure. Now I will say this, there is some excessive play in here. Probably gonna want to put some bearings in it since we're down this far and reset everything, but I don't see any excessive wear. Now I'm gonna clean this up and see if I can find the numbers to figure out what gear ratio we got. I'm gonna show you how to do that. So there's a set of numbers on 9-inch gears. Let's see if I can get over here in the light and find them. I had them a minute ago, but I've been cleaning up on this thing, and I may have lost them. Right there. So a set of numbers on the gears right here. There's a code and a part number and all that stuff, but if you take these numbers, take the two numbers and divide them, you get the gear. Now this one still had the tag on it, but I wanted to check the gear personally instead of just relying on the tag just it had been changed. But if you can see it, let's see if I can get turned right in the light. I don't know if you can see it, but 310, and that's what the math comes out to. This thing has 310 gears in the back of it. I gotta say, I'm a little shocked at that. I figured it would have a lower gear in it, and I can't find any reason so far to justify taking it apart to change the gears. I will look at the pinion gear down in there as I clean everything up and put new seals in it to make sure it's okay. But if it's okay, then in theory it could go back together just the way it is. Personally, I would run a little lower gear, but it's not my car. So we'll finish getting it all cleaned up so we can do a good inspection on anything. And it looks like, as of now, the only damage I have seen is to the axle bearings itself. Everything else so far looks pretty clean. I don't see any chipped teeth. I don't see any teeth that are filed down real sharp from excessive wear. Honestly, I don't see anything. I mean, I'm even looking back in here at the pinion gear as much as I can see it right there, and I don't see any excessive wear on it. So it will come down to adjusting the lash just a little bit. Obviously it has some wear on it because the lash is a little out. Then again, maybe they set it a little loose at Ford. Who knows? This is a 60-year-old setup here, so who knows what they would have done 60 years ago. Maybe they set it a little loose. So we'll see. The car doesn't have a ton of miles on it, so I didn't really expect to find anything crazy in here. So yeah, we'll get the other backing plate took off the other side, and give the housing a good pressure washing and a good cleaning, and then blast all the crap off of it, and start building a new rear end. So I'll stay tuned. That's just a quick video to give you an idea of how to take a rear end apart, or a Ford 9-inch. I do need to specify it. I'll take a Ford 9-inch apart. 4 bolts on each axle on the retaining plate. Pulls the axles out. Once you pull the axles out, then you can pull the differential out of the center. So not a whole lot to it as far as taking it apart. There does get into a little science, a little math, a little precision, if you will, when we start setting up gears and things of that nature. I don't know if there'll be a video on that, because I don't know if he wants to change the gears. There'll probably still be a video on that, because I want to put bearings and stuff in it. So we'll see what happens next. But y'all stay tuned, and till next time, God bless you. Have a great day.